Hello everyone and welcome to my channel today. This session is a follow-on from my session on All About Aromatherapy, which provided an overview of the areas that I studied to become an aromatherapist. And to become an aromatherapist, there are a number of key aspects of knowledge that you need to obtain before you can actually provide treatments. And in my introductory video, I pulled out some of these areas and I'm slowly working my way through some of those to increase and rebuild my knowledge and sharing that journey with you as I do that. So I recently covered a video focusing on the area of carrier oils, and I thought I would now move on to the essential oils aspect. So one of the areas that has fascinated some viewers is where I keep referring to the notes of essential oils. So I thought it would be helpful for me to revisit those in more detail. So I keep referring to the top, middle and base notes, and I'm getting quite a few questions on that. So hopefully this video would be really helpful for those people who have a particular interest in looking at aromatherapy in much more detail. So there are three ways to categorize essential oils. One of the main ways that I like to use is this top, middle and base note categorization. There are a couple of other methods as well. You could categorize oils by their fragrance. For example, you may have heard of the terms spice, citrus, floral, woody, and oils being referred to in that way, or by effect. So some oils can have a calming and relaxing impact. Some can ease anxiety, or some can be very uplifting. So that's another way of categorizing essential oils. But today I will be focusing on the note categorization. And specifically, what I'd like to start with is the base note. So, a word of caution to start with. Please be aware that essential oils are very strong, so you need to take care when using them. And where there are particular contraindications that could come up, I will be highlighting those when I look at particular oils. But if you have any conditions, or for example, if you're pregnant or you've got heart issues, diabetes, then please do your research before you start using some of these oils, as caution is needed. So at the foundation of an essential oil blend, you will find what is known as a base note. So these oils tend to evaporate the slowest and last the longest in the blend. So this is due to them containing heavier molecules. So your senses will take that note in even after the top and middle notes have evaporated. So as part of my studies, I had to do a very detailed, well-researched assignment on 32 oils, and I'm going to be using some of the content of my research projects, having also looked to see if anything has updated. But my research project was very detailed, and it covers things like the origin of an oil, how it is extracted, the quality of it, the note, the properties, so whether it's antiseptic, a tonic, its uses and its benefits, any precautions, very important, what it blends well with, and the effects of the oil. So it is very useful for me to revisit that original project that I must have spent hours doing, and then increasing my knowledge of the essential oils that we're going to talk about today and refresh my memory as well. So today I'm going to touch on 6 of the base notes that I studied. There are more, but these are the ones that I've used over the years, and therefore I feel comfortable commenting on in particular. So these are going to be cedarwood, ginger, which could also be used as a middle note, but in this instance I'm using it as a base note, frankincense, sandalwood, vetiver, and Ylang Ylang. So those are the ones that I use fairly regularly. And we'll now move into talking about the first of those. And I've got a little demonstration for you. So the first one we're going to talk about is cedarwood. So cedarwood is an oil that is quite smooth, woody, slightly smoky aroma, and it's wonderfully soothing and balancing, both for the mind and the body. It's also naturally toning and cleansing, making it popular to use in skincare and hair products, and it's also can be used as an insect repellent as well. It's distilled from the sawdust or stumps of the Atlas cedar tree, and you can get cedarwood from other trees, but this one is particularly from the Atlas tree. And this is by Absolute Aromas, this one, and it's sourced from Morocco. Obviously, these oils are sourced from all around the world, and particular brands prefer, obviously, particular countries which suit their needs. So, what can you use this for? Well, you can use it as a fragrance in a diffuser. It mixes well with any sort of citrus oil. So that would be your top notes. What have I got here? So something like lemon or orange would go quite well with that. And one of its other really good uses is for a hair and scalp revival. So it's very useful for improving the condition of the hair. So to create a hair and scalp treatment, what you would do is put in your carrot oil once you've chosen that. And I would suggest 10 millilitres for that. And then you would add in 3 drops of your cedarwood. And then because it's hair and scalp, I would tend to add in something else. So another essential oil that's known for its healing properties on the scalp and hair. So in this instance, I would suggest rosemary. And then I'd leave that on the scalp for around 30 minutes and then shampoo out. So that's a really useful use of cedarwood there. I'll pop this one back. The final use of cedarwood is in a complementary blend with 2 other oils. And one other tool that I do have to use is my aromatherapy decoder. And if you don't want to think too much about which oils mix best with others, I do find the aromatherapy wheels very helpful. And you just literally look up the oil that you're working with. So in this case, we're looking at cedarwood, and it will tell you which of the oils it blends best with. So in this instance, it's got bergamot, jasmine, juniper, or sandalwood. So you've already got the choice that you don't have to think about it too much. What this chart also gives you is any precautions, and in this instance there aren't any, so we're happy to use that, but it's very useful in terms of a summary of what you can use the oil for as well. So the second base oil that I want to talk to you about today is ginger. Now, ginger is an interesting one. It can be used as a middle note as well, so it's near the top end of the base notes, so it sort of covers both categories, but in this instance I do like to use ginger as a base note. It's very stimulating and warming. It's got a sweet, spicy, earthy aroma, and it's a really good one to use for things that you might not think about. So pre and post exercise massage to revitalise tired muscles. It also helps to fight feelings of fatigue and lethargy. So the oil itself is distilled from dried, freshly ground ginger roots, and this one is sourced from India. So what you could do, for example, with this is we could use the coconut oil that we used in the previous one, and literally if you just get yourself a teaspoon, and you could put a couple of drops of ginger in, and you could just put that in a bath, really to ease those tired muscles, particularly if you have been exercising. Ginger is great for that. You could also add in a couple of drops of orange, of lavender. We tend to, in aromatherapy, use a 3-2-1 method, so that you don't overuse the oils. So that's something that you could certainly use in that instance. So literally just a teaspoon with a mixture of your 3 favourite oils, one of those being ginger. The other thing that you could use is a treatment oil, and this one happens to be one from Absolute Aromas, and it's a really good treatment oil. Apply to scalp and massage product into the skin and soothe and nourish. Leave for 20 to 30 minutes and then shampoo and condition as usual. Or use in massage on the body to soothe tired, tense muscles and support joint mobility. So similar qualities to what we were talking about earlier, but that's a ready-made treatment oil that is available. Or you could use ginger within a massage blend with a couple of other oils. So the third base note I'd like to talk to you about is frankincense. If you're wondering why I've got these porcelain dishes, or essential oils do tend to seep into everything, and I find this is a really good way of controlling where they seep into by containing them in something that is washable. So frankincense has a spicy, woody, slightly lemony aroma, which is both soothing and uplifting. So it's got the spicy woodiness that is soothing, and the light lemony aroma, which is uplifting. And it's often considered one of the spiritual essential oils. So it's great for things like meditation, or if you just want to relax, you can have that in a room diffuser, for example. So it's steam distilled from the resin of the Boswellia tree, and its uses are many. So I've mentioned the one about using it as a meditative tool. So you could pop that into a diffuser, and that would create a sensual, spiritual atmosphere. What it is also good for is using it as a nourishing facial moisturizer. So in this case, I would use a different carrot oil, one that is slightly thicker than the coconut oil. So I would use, in this instance, peach kernel, and just add that in to your measure. And you don't need a lot because you're putting it on the face, so you don't want a lot in there at all. And I would be inclined to add something that is known for its facial skincare, which is probably rose, which I happen to have here. I think that would make a nice blend. But you literally, because you're putting it on the face, you only need 1 drop. There we go, that's 1 drop of rose. And that makes a nice blend to create a facial moisturiser. Right, the fourth oil that I'd like to talk to you about is sandalwood. Sandalwood has a rich woody aroma. It's also an essential oil which has a balancing and grounding effect on the emotions and is often used in meditation. It's steam distilled from the wood of the tree and can be added to massage blends, and is often found in men's skincare. This one is sourced from New Caledonia. Often used in what we call a grounding massage. You could blend 3 drops of sandalwood, 2 drops of Roman chamomile, and 1 drop of frankincense in 20 mils of peach kernel, I would suggest, carrot oil. You can also use it as a room fragrance, so 1 or 2 drops can create a grounding and calming environment. So actually I've got a diffuser here, so if we put I think just a couple of drops into there would be absolutely fine. And then if we pop that on, and that will help to create a lovely, calming, meditative atmosphere. And you could put that on at the beginning of a massage to create that atmosphere in the room, and then carry it on with using the grounding massage elements that I mentioned earlier. So the fifth oil I want to talk to you about is Vetivert. So Vetivert, it's a rich woody aroma with a smoky note. It's good at helping to relieve tired muscles, another one for tired muscles and joints, and also very good for soothing dry and mature skin. So it's steam distilled from the dried roots of the vetiver plant, and it's helpful in calming and balancing the mind and the body. Due to its viscose consistency, the bottle may need gentle warming in your hands first. So you can do that just to make the pouring ability a little bit better. So uses, you could use it to help soothe a tired body, for example, using it in the bath. What I would suggest in this instance is that you do a little, what I call my teaspoon mixture. So a little bit of carrier oil in a teaspoon. This one I'm using is sweet almond. And then you would add your oils in there. So I would say literally in a teaspoon like that, you've got probably 1 drop of vetiver. It's coming. There we go. Literally just 1 drop is all you need of that. I would be tempted, if you've got tired muscles, to add a drop of lavender and potentially eucalyptus, because they work very well together. So if you wanted to add those in, you could. So 1 drop of each. And you could possibly use that same mixture, so the vetiver, lavender and eucalyptus, to do a body massage and add that to 10 mils of your peach kernel, and use that 3-2-1 drop method that I have mentioned in the past. So for 10 mils, 5 to 6 drops of essential oil is plenty. Okay, so that is vetiver. So the final oil that I'm going to look at today is Ylang Ylang. It's this one here. And very different aroma to some of the others here. It's quite sweet and it's got a floral aroma. So a lot of these have been woody and rich and sort of smoky. This is almost sweet and exotic, floral, and it's a great one for helping to uplift, provide an uplift, particularly during times of stress. I would normally include that in a massage where people had come in with, concerns about their stress levels. It is steam distilled from the flowers of the Ylang Ylang plant, and it's one of the most popular oils to put into a diffuser because it gives that uplifting feeling. So whereas what we've used previously would give a balancing and calming impact by just changing the oils, you can create a totally different atmosphere in the room that you're in, and this one definitely is that feeling of uplift. Just an anecdote there, the flowers are only picked during the night to best capture their exotic fragrance. So interesting fact there. So you can, as I said, use a couple of drops in a burner or a diffuser to create that sensual and uplifting atmosphere. But I'm just going to go back to my original project notes here, because this is definitely one that I covered. So the origin of it is obviously these freshly picked fragrant flowers from a quite a small tropical tree. They can be sourced from the Comoro Isles, Mauritius, Philippines, Seychelles and Tahiti. It can be extracted through steam or water distillation. And it's a base note. It has properties which are antidepressant, so it's uplifting, antiseptic, aphrodisiac, circulatory stimulant, euphoric. It's a nerve sedative and a tonic. So its uses and benefits include things like, there's a huge list here, acne, anxiety, dandruff, high blood pressure, hormonal balancer, insomnia, panic attacks. It's a relaxant, it's essential, and it's a good skincare oil for oily skin. It's also useful on the mental side for depression, nervous tension, and stress. Now, this one, there is a precautionary note on, which is that it may cause sensitization. And because it has got quite that sort of sickly smell, people who don't like that smell, it can cause a little bit of a headache or nausea. So I would just use it in small amounts to avoid that. It blends well with things like clary sage, geranium, jasmine, lavender, lemon, rosewood, and sandalwood. The effects of it are, it's a real comforter in times of stress, and it's a good antidepressant and used to instill confidence. So it's interesting looking back at my notes from years ago to see that they still do apply. Okay, that covers all of the 6 base notes that I want to talk to you about today. And one of the things I wanted to point out was that when I was studying, I was very reliant on textbooks, and I still have some of those today that I use. This is Robert Tisserand, The Art of Aromatherapy. Got Julia Lawless, who's got the Encyclopedia of Essential Oils, and also Patricia Davis on the Aromatherapy A to Z. So these are ones that I would have used, I think particularly the Tisserand one. And nowadays it's very different. There is so much information available at the click of a button. So please do use that to do some research before you attempt to do aromatherapy on other people or indeed on yourself. So many of the essential oil providers will have guidance notes and hints and tips pages. So do investigate these if I've stimulated your interest in aromatherapy. I will be producing some follow-on videos on the middle and top notes as well. So do be aware of some of the cautionary warnings when using essential oils, and in particular if you have any medical conditions or you are pregnant, please seek advice first. Having said that, I do hope this session will encourage you to use essential oils and benefit fully from their uses. Thank you for listening.